I'd like to call this April 23rd, 2026 Board of Education regular meeting to order. And before we begin tonight, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the recent tragedy involving a school shooting. As someone who graduated from Valley Forge High School, this hits close to home. Our hearts are with the students, staff, families, and the entire community affected. We remain committed to doing everything we can to ensure our schools are safe, supportive places for every child. George, can you take the roll?
Mrs. Bissell?
Here.
Ms. Hafner?
Here.
Mr. Micko?
Here.
Mr. Wall, who cannot be here tonight, not present, and Mrs. Hausum.
Here. We all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Next on the agenda are strategic priorities. Our district has developed and is currently engaged in a 3-year strategic plan which reflects the values, beliefs, and hopes of our students, staff, parents, and community. There are 4 strategic priorities to the plan: transforming teaching and learning, aligning staff and resources, cultivating culture and climate, and leveraging funding and facilities. Our strategic priorities give actionable focus to our district's purpose and mission and guide the work of our strategic plan. With that, I will turn it over to Dr. Ryba for recognitions.
Thank you, Ms. Hausum. It's always an awesome evening when we have standing room only because we're here to recognize so many students and their accomplishments. So we're going to get started. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Wingler, who's going to come to the podium and share our first set of recognitions.
Thank you. Good evening. So tonight I'm going to be presenting our National Merit Commended students, and just a quick definition of what that actually means. These are students who have shown extremely high testing in the PSAT test. Roughly every year in the United States, about 1.4 million juniors take the PSAT test. In order to get recognized as a commended student, this is a national ranking versus the semifinalists, which are a state ranking. To get in this group, you have to be in the top 2 to 3%, which means out of that 1.4 million, you have to be in about roughly the top 34,000. So clearly, these are really, really bright kids. As I go through the names, I'm going to call them up. I could go through their accomplishments, but you would be here till midnight. So it goes without saying these are kids who fill up our AP classes, our CCP classes, are in activities. Some of them aren't here because they're at activities. So I'm going to call their names and have them come up and congratulate them. First off, James Strunk. Nick Memis. Andrew Kunzelman. Ms. Hannah Jika is not here tonight because she is currently getting ready to run at the Penn Relays, which, if you know anything about track, is the holy grail of college running. So she is an indoor state champ and hopefully representing us well there. Lauren Holosi. I didn't see Lauren. I think she is also not in track. She's at a different sporting event tonight, I believe out of state. Ishvar Ganesh. Chris Fleur. Nick Cola Giovanni. That one was really stressing me out. Emmeline Bryan. Well, parents, why don't you come up and get a picture? Guys, why don't you shift over? Shift you all over, get a picture. Parents, come on.
This is official.
Just so you know, that they don't just get it, like, we're giving them a certificate. This is a big deal. When you apply to college, this is an honor. This is an academic honor that has a lot of weight with universities and goes a long way. So to have this many of these students is clearly an indictment of how smart they are and how good our school system is.
Did the science fair stuff all day? Yeah. Okay, good. Congratulations. Congratulations. Wonderful. Great job. Great job.
Congratulations. 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 Congratulations.
Just real quickly before I roll out here, I just want to say, tonight, the science fair at the high school, I was over there, snuck in early. It's outstanding. They've got all kinds of crazy science experiments going on over there. I also wanted to congratulate the cheer team tonight and the yearbook for being here. And just a shout out also, Strongsville's own Blake Miller, probably going to go in the first round tonight of the NFL draft, which is also very exciting for us. So thank you again.
So last month, we had the opportunity to recognize Heather Kern-Swanson on her accomplishments for yearbook, and here we're excited tonight to recognize all the students that made those recognitions as well as her leadership happen. So, Ms. Swanson, I'll have you come on up to put a podium and celebrate the students in your group.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you for inviting us, and I'm really, really excited that I get to recognize my 2025 yearbook staff for their All-Ohio Award at the Ohio Scholastic Press Association. It was actually our first year in the Ohio Scholastic Press Association, and these students brought home the highest award in Ohio, scoring a 993 on a 1,000-point rubric, which is unheard of for our 2025 book. So if they could come on up right here. And what was I going to say? Oh, it's a testament to their, I wrote this part down because I knew you guys were going to make me talk. Come on up, guys, just come on up. I'm going to say your names. Like, they like to be behind the camera and behind the computer. They do not like to be in front. All right. This is a testament to their work effort, their talent, and their drive, and not to mention that they make every day fun. And everybody who is up here has been on staff for several years, and I just want to tell them all how much I appreciate them and give a special shout out to the 2025 editors who were with me when I took over the yearbook and really wanted to establish a scholastic program, because they were with me all of the years, and that was Editor-in-Chief Matthew Tursky and Photographer-in-Chief Rhonda Desai. You'll know her because she attends, I would say by the end of the year, will have attended over 150 school events to take pictures. And then editor Khadija Awada. And I think we also have, well, I'll just give them all, but Malak Abu Khalil. I was so scared. I've known her for like 3 years, okay? It's the same thing with Mackenzie's last name, Shaveda, which I practiced, and I've known her for two years. And then Lulu Nawabit. I am so nervous. Why'd you guys do this to me? So, I know I messed it up. So. Oh, I should also say that we had a couple others who couldn't be here. One of them was Abdul Awada. Oh my gosh, Abdul Awada, and it's a joke because we left him off the original list, so I didn't want to forget him again. And then Shaylor Smith and Brody Seelong. Did I get them all? Yeah. Okay. Do you want to take them? So, thank you.
And parents, if you want to stand up and get close to get pictures, please feel free to do so.
Great job. It's so impressive. You guys are so impressive. Thank you for all your hard work. What a great job you do. Thank you so much. Great work you do. Great work. Congratulations. Great job.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Great work.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
All right, next up, it is time to move on to some athletic recognition. So we will have our athletic director, Jason Kepler, come up to the podium to get us started for this set of honorees.
So before we begin, I just want to say thank you to everyone up here for the opportunity tonight. We get to celebrate a lot, and celebrating here is such an honor. Our student athletes, they do so many great things, and to have them here tonight, we're just so excited. Before we bring up the coaching staff, though, I do want to shout out the yearbook crew. I see them all the time at the athletic events, and I am not kidding when I say they are at more events than even any athletic director at any high school. So I just want to give an extra shout out to you guys, because I know how much that cares for you, or how much you care about that. So the first team we'll recognize tonight is the cheerleading team, and we'll bring up Coach O in a second. But before we do, we want to recognize our coaches first. The work that our coaching staff has done over the last, I don't know how long you've coached now for Coach Jen, but 6, 7, 8 years, something like that. But how much he has bought in. Sorry. Yeah. So we have an initiative in the athletic office where we try to expand the opportunities for kids while at the same time expanding the number of kids that we impact. And Coach O has taken that to heart. And in my time with the district, the cheer squad started with 50 girls. And as of last year, we were up to 72. And I have no reason to believe, especially after the last tryout round, how that number is not going to grow probably by at least 10 more this year. So on top of that, Coach Jen has added other opportunities to the team. She's added stunting and the competition team, which is who we're recognizing tonight. And I just want to say we're proud to have you on staff, Coach O, because you've been so great and your leadership has been incredible. So would you mind coming up and talking about the cheerleaders?
Good evening. Thank you for having us. Never say 6'7" in front of girls like that. That just set them right off back there. Behind me is Coach Sammy and Coach Duplaga. They were my co-coaches this year. They came up with the idea with me to start a competition team 2 years ago. Our first year, we got our grounding down, and then last year, we set a goal, let's just make it to states. We made it to states. We didn't tell the girls the coaches had a goal of let's place at states. We just wanted to make it to states. And then they placed in 5th, and they were very happy that they were able to place. This team was resilient. They went through a lot of hardships trying to figure out what works, what didn't work out this year. And then the way they responded and represented the school, we couldn't be more proud. So I'm going to say the names of the girls that are not here tonight because they're all in many different sports. Taryn Nye, Kinsley Nye, Ella Kingery, Celia Grozen, and Lily Bender. Those girls were unable to make it. But ladies, when I say your name, come on up. Cameron Jovic, Caroline McClellan, Morgan Jasinski, Quinn Pachatsko, Annie Canonico, Chloe Morris, Charlotte Keefe, Ella Hunley, Maddie Miles, Sophia Kraywick, and Brielle Stark. Congratulations, girls. You want to go give high five? And then we're going to take our picture out there because we're such a large group. Mr. Conklin, you guys can go out there for a second. Okay.
Good job. Congratulations. Wonderful job, girls. Yay. Thank you. Congratulations. 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 Way to go. Congratulations. Congratulations. Thank you so much. Thank you. You? Great job. Thank you. Congratulations. Congratulations. Great work. Congratulations. Congratulations, Coach. I know. Great job, Coach. Congratulations. Thank you.
Congratulations. Yep.
Okay, so we will now recognize our state qualifier wrestler. Before we do, I do want to talk about the state placer. Thank you, Coach O. I'm going to talk about Coach O first. A lot of what I'm going to say next is pretty much identical to what I said about Coach Generalowski. One, because he expands his team just like Coach Jen does, and they're married and have the same last name. So Coach Tim, when I first started with the schools, I think you had taken over the program, and there were about 20 kids, which is a pretty good number for a wrestling team. However, he had that same eye towards expanding opportunities for as many kids as possible. And as of last year, that team has grown to 46. And I think it's going to grow even more next year based on his work with the youth program and the work that he's put in down there. So Coach O, we're proud to have you on staff. We're proud of the work that you've done, and we're so excited to see what you can bring in future years. Would you mind coming up and talking about the season?
All right. As most people know, I'll try not to get emotional when I talk. So I've been coaching now in Strongsville for 10 years. I was 4 years an assistant at the high school, then 2 years head coach at the middle school. Well, that's where I met Michael. Michael came in, that was my first year as the head coach, and had him for 2 years down there. Little Michael was probably at that time 70-some pounds, I want to say. 80 was the opening weight class, so he was wrestling up there. Still did very well. So we get to the high school level. His freshman year, I was now the head coach at the high school. So he comes in to wrestle 106 pounds, and he weighed 93. So again, giving up weight. But Michael always fought, always was in the room, always getting extra work in. And this is one reason why Michael, this year, losing match number 1 at States, battles back, wins 3 in a row, loses, and then wins another 2 to take 5th in the state, which is the first time since 2009, if I have this right, 2009, 2010, since we've had a placer at States from Strongsville. Michael is going to be missed. He's going to Case Western Reserve University. He's going to wrestle for them, going into engineering, right? Going into engineering at Case. And he's also, I've sort of convinced him, he hasn't given me an answer yet, but he's going to come back and help the program as well. So I'm excited to see that. So I just want to say thank you. And Michael, come on up.
You'll have to get your picture after. Okay. Congratulations. Wonderful job. Okay, congratulations. Thanks, Coach.
Congratulations, Michael. Congratulations, son.
So just a special congratulations to all of our talented students in the classroom, our talented students working on the yearbook, as well as our athletes. And I got to say, it's awesome. I don't know if you know this, but Tim and Jen and I all graduated from high school together. So one of us was a little younger, and it wasn't me and Tim. So it's awesome to see friends and old high school graduates together come back and do great things for our district. And just to recollect for a second, I remember when Tim was vying to be the head coach, and he made a commitment to what he was going to do with the program. And I'm so proud of him because he's done just that. He's done just that with our program. And Jen, since she's taken over, my phone has not ringed about cheerleading. So that's a bonus too. But you know, from the yearbook that is just, I don't see all other yearbooks, and I'm biased, but I think our yearbook is just phenomenal. I mean, it's just amazing. And for our students that were commended students, I mean, you are just achieving at an extremely high level, and that's a lot of work and dedication and time and energy, and just so proud of how you're representing yourselves, your families, and our district. So congratulations to everybody. Let's give everybody another round of applause.
All right, that concludes recognitions. Again, I ditto what Dr. Ryba said. You guys are so amazing, all the accomplishments. Again, the yearbook reads like a story. It's not just pictures anymore. It tells a story of all of our athletes and musicians and all of our students. So thank you for being here tonight. This is a great time if anyone has homework to do. It's a beautiful evening. We'll pause if anyone needs to leave. All right, I think we're going to go out of order tonight. I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Ryba again to introduce a few of our new staff members.
Thank you, Ms. Hausum. We are excited to share the news of some key individuals that are going to be taking key positions in our district. So I'm going to turn it over to Jenny to do the introductions.
Thank you. So it's always challenging when we hear of employees that have been longstanding employees and do a phenomenal job that they have either chosen to retire or take a different position. And so it's always a challenge to find somebody that can do what they do and replace them. And I'm really excited because I'm thrilled that I think we have found a few people here that can do their best to live up to the legacy that certainly Scott Benson has given to the district, and then the wonderful job Bill Wingler has done at our high school. And so just really excited and pleased that we were able and lucky enough to find them. So I first want to introduce Alex Mills. Alex comes to us, he most recently has worked in Cincinnati, mostly in production and working with high school students to produce their sports events and athletic events, and really built a great program there, but elected to move back to the Cleveland area, so fortunate for us. He also has a lot of experience in freelance work where he's done a lot of production and storytelling. And one of the favorite things as I interviewed Alex the other day, you know, I just said, how do you learn all this stuff? And he's like, I just like to play around and get into it and make it work and make something happen. And so I love that energy and that enthusiasm and that excitement. And then we're just thrilled to bring Alex on board. And fortunately, he will have the opportunity to work directly with Scott for a few months before Scott leaves us. And so I think we have a great opportunity here to have a smooth transition. So Alex, do you want to just come up to the podium and say a few words? Alex, come up to the podium and say a few words.
Yeah, I guess to keep it simple, I'm thrilled to be here, and I'm really looking forward to getting started.
Thank you. Thank you. Short and sweet, really good, thank you.
Congratulations, welcome. Thank you.
Alex, I don't know if you're told, but Scott told me that now he's going to stand up and leave. And you're going to take over. You cool with that?
We'll figure it out, play around.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, very good. Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, Alex.
And next, I would like to introduce Eric Smith. Eric Smith, pending your approval this evening, will be replacing Bill Wingler as our new high school principal. Eric currently serves at Copley High School, where he's been, I think, 8 years at Copley High School as the principal there. Prior to that, he has been an assistant principal in Cloverleaf and began his career as a middle school science teacher in Medina. He is the father of 5 kids, so I know that in and of itself brings a lot of wealth of knowledge and being able to relate to parents and families. And I think I sent an email earlier this week introducing him to the high school staff and said a whole bunch of things that I think are true in terms of his willingness to collaborate and just continue to grow the high school further. And his response back to me was, boy, that guy sounds really good. I hope I can live up to it, and I'm sure you will, Eric. So would you like to come to the podium and say a few words?
Just wanted to state it's a pleasure to be here for certain. I did have about a 12-minute speech prepared, but my audience left. So no, I am thrilled. I love what I do, and I'm pretty excited about coming and doing it on a much greater level than where I'm at now. I think a lot of high schools are similar, but I know there's a lot of intricate details that are not. And so I'm looking forward to kind of getting to know what those are and understanding this place much better. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Congratulations and welcome.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Ms. Hausum, for letting us go a little out of order, and obviously you will vote on these recommendations here in a little bit, but just welcome to both Alex and Eric.
Thank you. And again, ditto what Dr. Ribas said. Welcome. Thank you for being here. We all look forward to working with you in the next school year. Next on the agenda is public comment. We welcome your comments. However, we do ask that you abide by the guidelines of our policy 0169.1. When your name is called, please stand and state your name, address, and topic. You will have 3 minutes to speak. If your comment involves a problem with a student, employee, or board member, please do not address them by name. The primary role of the Board of Education is to listen and reflect on your comments. Sometimes board members may respond or ask questions, but not always. Whether we respond or not, your input is valued. First, I have Maggie Koza.
Maggie Koza, 9812 Hazelwood Avenue. I always wonder if people get curious and look up my address. I never like this part of public comment, but today in particular, I'm pointing it out for a reason. I live near the intersection of Albion Road and Prospect. We walk the dogs and ride bikes through this area. My kids and I enjoy a treat from Prospect Beverage on occasion, and we like our quiet, safe part of Strongsville. My older son rides his bike the most. He takes the same route on Albion every morning and every afternoon on a good day to the middle school. You'll see him as the kid with shorts in 30-degree weather in his Christmas hoodie. And yes, we do argue about it, but I've lost that battle 2 years ago. My husband also drives through here, and I drive through here with kids in my car all the time. Why is this relevant? I had to read about a board member almost hitting someone at that same intersection. And it just gives me chills and a lot of heartburn that myself or someone I love could have gotten hurt. That's not even the worst part. The fact that they were more concerned about social status and not what they did tells me all I need to know for what I'm about to say. I try my best to teach my 3 beautiful and stubborn children that when we make mistakes, it is important that we own them. That is how we humanize ourselves, work on self-awareness, and be better people, no matter the status. I want you to know it's circulating amongst the student body, and the response is what concerns me. My son and I talked about it, and he said to me, verbatim, "So let me ask you this, Mom. Since you're the PTA president, does that mean that I don't have to serve suspensions? And for my neurodivergent child who has a very hard time understanding social cues, if he understood it, I have to ask, what's the excuse now?" Think about the example you're setting. You were elected by the community, but I'm here to share with you that I know a lot of parents, people with kids in the schools who didn't trust you, and this didn't help your case. It certainly didn't help mine in asking why we still have a drug testing policy, which you ran on saying you'd vote to get rid of. And on the flip side, you can't continue only drug testing kids. I would be requesting to add staff and board members now. And we're not talking about a legal adult just having a couple of drinks on St. Patrick's Day. We are talking about the fact that a grown adult who is capable of knowing the rules and the laws got into a vehicle and chose to drive impaired on the same street I know many of us frequent. The right thing for you to do is to resign and get the help you need. Alcoholism destroyed my family. It killed my father. It ruined any type of relationship I had ever wanted to hold with him. It broke my mother growing up with an alcoholic family, and it traumatized her to the point where she wasn't a functioning adult to take care of me and my sister. It killed friends of mine and even came close to destroying my own marriage. I can't support people who don't humanize themselves and cover and hide who they are. I can't trust this is the best personality to make decisions for my kids, let alone be around them. If you don't take the time to work on yourself, how can you be the best version of yourself to serve this community? I do want to share that today is my 1,330th day of sobriety. I felt I had a moral obligation to break the cycle and speak to you tonight, knowing full well that comes with a set of its own consequences, and it shouldn't. I know what it's like to hit rock bottom. You wouldn't be the first person to go through this, and you wouldn't be the last. I can't support people who don't take accountability and become at the very minimum self-aware of who they are, and that includes holding yourself accountable. I genuinely care about people, and I think holding people accountable is a kind thing to do. I want to end it with this. I'm almost done, I promise. And I need to switch up for a second and address the community. Please don't let this be a reason not to vote for the bond. The kids do not deserve this. I do feel like a lot of these types of problems are connected in some way, and if you follow the patterns the way I do, you'll see it. If you're upset with what's going on, lock into these meetings. I know people who will listen while doing dishes or walking their dogs, and pay attention to the legislation being passed that hasn't been in favor of public education for quite some time. We have built some really great things here and for what we have. And what I want to share is that I'm deeply concerned at how much is at stake if we don't do the right things. I've been a devoted PTA volunteer for 13 years, and the biggest reward for me has always been seeing the excitement of the kids as well as the staff, and that everyone feels supported. And I know that there's been all types of emotions and disagreements, but for the most part, we have good people here, and I hate to see a few bad apples ruin it for us. Please vote.
Next, we have Delaney DeMay. Delaney, if you could just state your name and your address.
My name is Delaney DeMay. My address is 18027 Meadow Lane. I've not done this before. I have 2 boys who attend Maraski. I grew up here as well. It's very concerning to me that we have a school board member who recently was cited for OVI by our local police department. While the criminal case has not been resolved, what is very clear is that the board member attempted to use her privilege, being related to our mayor, to influence the response of the police officer who pulled her over. This is disgraceful for anyone, let alone an elected official who has the responsibility of serving her constituents with dignity, accountability, and transparency. The school board bylaws state, quote, the Board of Education believes quality public education and good board service should be conducted in an ethical manner with traditional principles such as honesty, trust, fairness, and integrity. It seems like a starting point for conducting board duties in an ethical manner would be examining whether a person conducts themselves in that manner in their everyday life, especially while interacting with community members whom they serve. Several of these principles do not appear to align with one board member's actions and words on March 17th. First, fairness. Simply the notion that decision-making should be free of bias, discrimination, or favoritism. Instead of adhering to this principle, the board member brazenly sought preferential treatment from a police officer and suggested the mayor would be unhappy with him if she was cited. Her attempt to invoke nepotism runs in complete opposition to the definition of fairness. Second, integrity, which the dictionary defines as having strong moral principles. The board member could have made a very bad decision, yet moved forward with integrity if she chose different actions upon being pulled over. This would have looked like refraining from mentioning her relation to the mayor, taking the breathalyzer test, accepting its results, and being transparent with the community about her transgressions. Instead, she attempted to avoid responsibility by trying to persuade a police officer to neglect his duty of removing unsafe drivers from city streets and holding them accountable for their dangerous driving. This was a selfish act devoid of integrity. I expect our school board members to hold themselves to high standards of accountability, whether or not they are serving in their official capacity. I'd be disappointed if one of my kids attempted to dodge responsibility by name dropping. Reading that a school board member, a full-grown adult who has taken an oath to uphold laws and act in the best interest of her constituents, did this is simply appalling. Her choices make it clear she is not worthy of trust. I have no faith that someone who demonstrates such poor judgment possesses the ethical fortitude required to serve our community and make sound decisions on behalf of our city's children. This board member should resign.
Those were our two public comment slips. We will move on to approval of minutes. Motion to approve the minutes of the March 26, 2026 regular meeting and the April 1st, 2026 work session. All audio recordings will be a permanent part of the minutes and are available upon request through the treasurer's office. Video recordings shall be maintained based on the availability of the selected digital online platform. Next, we have the treasurer's report. Mr. Aganastu.
Thank you, Mrs. Hausum. I have a few items for your consideration tonight. The first being the monthly financial status report for the month of March. I'm going to go over the supplemental report that's attached to the agenda. So through March of fiscal year 2026, our month-end cash balance is $54,362,000, which is about $10 million less from last year, 21%. During this time, as you can see in the graph below, for March, it does spike a little bit because we receive our tax settlement in March, and then as you can see in the out years, the out months, April, May, and June, that declines as we're working off that tax settlement until we receive our next advance and settlement in July and August. Just kind of looking ahead to the end of the fiscal year, our revenues are trending about $1.1 million less than forecasted, and our expenditures are about $300,000 more than forecasted, so an unfavorable net impact of about 1.4 million. I'll get into a little details of what that represents as I go through. And then we're projected to end the fiscal year at June 30th with a cash balance of 36.7 million, which is about 39% of our projected cash expenditures. And then our overall projected cash spend down for the year is 11 million. So we would end the fiscal year with $11 million less than what we're bringing in. And in layman's terms, we're spending $11 million more than what we're bringing in, which is spending down that cash balance. Looking at revenues for the month of March, our revenues were actually up by 5.3 million. That's mostly due to the tax collections, and again, it's due to timing. Our advances, so we received advances in January and February, and then the settlement in March. Those advances were lower than in years past, and the county sent it all through the tax settlement. And then shortly after that, the county also sent out a memo or announcement that they are ending the advance program starting calendar year 2027. So that's going to have a negative impact on us calendar year-wise. So we'll have the advance in July, but the fact that our tax revenues are about 80% of our budget, now receiving them only in March and August is going to put a cash flow issue at hand. So for calendar year 2027, we should be okay. We might have to sell off some investments to make it work. In 2028, as we continue to spend down our cash balance, we could be looking at cash flow issues in January, February, and then March. When we receive these in March, they don't come until the middle of March, and same thing with August. So we have two payrolls, and we'll have a payroll, and then we'll receive it. So we may be looking at potentially a tax anticipation note unless the county reinstitutes this advance program. But the treasurers in Cuyahoga County, we've kind of gotten together and been working with the ESC, who's going to be the spokesperson to talk, so kind of work with the county to see if there's any resolution to this where they could work out an advance program. And then the county also sent another follow-up that they're looking that they may grant advances if there's documented hardships that it may cause. So we'll see where it leads, more to come, but I'll follow up as I have more details.
I just have one question. Do you have any indication as to why they decided to get rid of the advance program?
Yeah, from what I'm hearing, it's with a tax reform. Typically, they sent the tax rates have to get certified by the State Department of Taxation, and they're sent back to the county. But because of the changes to the 20 mil floor calculations and those tax reforms, those letters are the tax rates are being sent to the State Department of Taxation later, and they're sending them back later, which is delaying the tax bills going out, and the county is also extending the tax bill, so they're saying that they have nothing to advance because the bills are going out later, and they're keeping the settlement date the same. So looking at any other questions around that?
Does that apply to us?
It does not, but it applies to the county overall. There's other districts in the county that, so they send it as a whole.
But to be clear, the issue does not apply to us.
Correct.
Right, so, and you said when does this go into effect?
Calendar year 2027.
Okay, so we have a little bit of time. I'm leery to just not make phone calls to our representatives. I think we need to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, when we get that money, we invest it.
Right.
So not getting that money, in addition to not having cash flow in 2028, but not getting that money in the pattern that we've had and delaying it is actually harming us.
Correct.
And so,
Yeah,
so we'll follow up on it.
Yep.
Thank you.
And then looking at actual fiscal year-to-date revenues through March, our revenues are about $3.5 million less. It's a combination of the second half of the renewal levy that was expired coming off the books, and then also tax collections were about $1.2 million less than forecasted. And again, after doing some digging, it came down to a timing issue because they sent the bills out late. They kept the settlement date, and then from what reports that I received from the county is the money was collected after the settlement date. So our August or July advance should be included in that, but it's going to be crossing over fiscal years. So we might see an increase in fiscal year 2027, which for tax revenue that we should have received in fiscal year 2026. State revenue is about $558,000 higher, and then other revenue is about $183,000 higher. That's due to a combination of the refund that we received from the county, about $800,000 from the fall, and then netted against lower interest income due to $10 million less funds to invest, and also the interest rates are about a percentage down from this time last year. Expenditures, looking at March, so this year, it's March last year, we're about $435,000 higher. Salaries and benefits are about $155,000. Purchase services and other expenditures are about $300,000 higher, and it's a singles month's results can be skewed because it's based on the timing of bills coming in and paid, especially with the purchase services and other expenses. And then looking at the year-to-date expenditures, we're about $3.3 million higher from this year to last year. 2.1 million, 2.2 is about for the salaries and benefits, and then the remaining million for non-personnel expenses. We have our professional services such as our nurses, OTs, and PTs. Those are about $200,000 higher. Utilities are about $100,000 higher. Our special education outplacements are about $400,000 higher. Our other transportation services are about $180,000 higher, and textbook purchases are about $200,000 higher, but that's more of a timing for the textbooks as they were carried over from last year, paid in July. And looking in comparison to the forecast, revenues is trending about 1.1 million, less, 1.3 million of that is the tax collections that I spoke about. Just more of a timing issue that they weren't included in the tax settlement. State revenue is about $24,000 higher, and other revenue is about $142,000 higher. And that was primarily to the TIFs were about, when we got our TIF settlement, it was about $100,000 higher. So that was a good offset to the tax collections being less. And then expenditures are trending about $300,000 higher, and that's primarily due to, and that $300,000 represents about 0.33%, so not even 0.5%. Our county auditor fees were about $81,000 higher. Our special education placements are about $80,000 higher than forecasted. And then we also had some timing of Chromebook purchases that were actually on the agenda last month, paid this month, and sometimes we bought them now due to pricing. What we usually do is buy them closer to the end of the year, encumber them, and pay them into the next fiscal year. So it was just the timing of when that budget was used. So any questions on the March report? I do want to point out, last week I was at the OASBO conference, which is the Ohio Association of School Business Officials, and then, Michelle, can I borrow that? And then at your desk, I put a reference guide. It's a school district financial forecast guidance and best practices. I was on the committee that wrote the white paper, so I brought a copy back for the board members to have as a reference document. Kind of goes into the best practices for financial forecasting.
George's name is listed first as authoring.
Has nothing to do with the first letter of his last name. Oh, I'm sorry.
Details, Dr. Iva, details.
Can I just add to that? I just think it's really important for our community to know that our treasurer is out, not only doing good work for the school district, but also investing in the larger organizations that serve us. And we do take a lot of heat in the community for financial mismanagement or whatever you want to call it. So every time there's an opportunity to shout out George and the work that he's doing, I want to take it, because he is doing this district a fantastic job, and we should be grateful and thankful. And I hope that the community takes the time to actually read and learn about what's going on and not believe the things that are circulating that aren't true. So, George, thanks for all you do.
Thank you.
Is a PDF available?
I can get one. Yeah, I can get one. I know you like the electronic copy.
But it can also go on the website for other
True.
people to have.
Yeah, I know there's available, I just didn't know if it was out-facing by OASBO or not, so I can obtain a copy. Moving forward, item 2, grant approvals. We have 2 grants. First one is an SEF grant for elementary scooter grant. This was a combined grant by all the elementary PE teachers for Razor scooters for the PE program, for a total of $4,500. So there'll be, Emily Weir is kind of coordinating, and Nick Howard, they're coordinating the purchase. So those will be equally divided amongst the elementary schools once they come in. And then the next item is a PTA grant for $675 for Kinsner ukuleles. Typically the PTA grants we don't receive, they usually buy them directly. But if you recall from last month, the SEF granted an ukulele grant to Kinsner as well. The PTA did a matching, so rather than splitting the purchase, the PTA is granting us the dollars, and we'll make one purchase towards the ukuleles. And then the last item I have for your consideration is the annual appropriation measure. There's 2 changes, one for the grants for Fund 19, and then the bond retirement fund for the county audit fees were a little higher than budgeted, and there's cash in the account to cover. And that concludes my report, if there's no further questions.
Any questions for George? All right, thank you, George. Dr. Iba.
Thank you. We have one item under my report, but we're going to hold that till next meeting when we have the full board together, so we'll pause that to next meeting. So that will take us to our departmental reports. So Steve is up with the business service report.
Good evening, everyone. There's 2 items under the business services section this evening. The first one is be resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent that the Board of Education approves the lease of a combined GPS and tablet systems from Synovia Solutions, LLC, a CalAmp company, at the total quoted price not to exceed $46,050.81 per year, and the term of this lease is for 60 months or 5 years.
Do I have a motion?
So moved?
Second?
Second.
Motion by Ms. Hafner, second by Mrs. Bissell. Steve, do you want to refresh our memory?
Sure. So this is the system that will be added to our current GPS system. The tablets will take the place of any kind of paper copies that are given to either drivers or substitutes as we service the needs of the students being transported by the transportation department, or even on field trips if it's an unfamiliar location to the driver. Instead of getting the handwritten, almost like, well, I guess some people may not remember the old triptychs from AAA. So instead of having that kind of an idea, and instead of drivers having to use any kind of personal navigation device, this one will be on the bus. It will be a visible tablet, but then it will also be an audio that hooks into the system to help direct the drivers to the various locations they need to be at. And on the fly, the leadership in their offices can add a route, change a route, and then that will be uploaded over the cellular network instantaneously to the drivers. So there's an operational component, and there's also a safety component as well with this purchase.
Anyone have any additional questions for Steve?
Steve, we were talking about other costs that would be eliminated or shifted if we made this purchase. Did we make any headway on guesstimate?
Yeah, so I looked at it under the filter of everything down to even like how much the paper costs and the printing costs that there are, combined with any kind of extra driving that's done with we sometimes have drivers that make the wrong turn and then they have to loop around and get back on that route. Also, that would lead to some overtime, so I calculated that in there. Also, some fuel savings of drivers having to drive back to get directions, or again, having more efficient navigation on their bus. And then all of that combined, I mean, I came to a number, it wasn't quite the 15,000, it was a little over 10,000 with some conservative estimate there. But what money I could not make up, and I don't say this often, but what money I couldn't make up with hard concrete operational costs, I think it's worth the investment from the safety aspect. The other piece is this technology is here. We're not the last adopters of this, but we're not the first adopters either. But what I can tell you is this is the cheapest this technology is going to be. If somebody decides that they want to mandate that this kind of technology becomes part of the bus infrastructure, we will not get this price for this kind of technology to be on the bus. So I feel that combined with the hard set operational numbers that I can come up with the safety, with knowing that this technology is coming, we are going to be expected to adopt this. I feel very confident presenting this to you that this is a good investment for the district at this time.
So it's coming out of the permanent improvement fund.
Correct.
If we pause and we just do the GPS, what's next on the list?
As far as bus technology?
As far as the permanent improvement fund. Do you understand what I'm asking?
Yeah, and my honest answer is it all depends on what happens in a few weeks. We do have the critical needs list that could adjust depending on how voters vote. There's always things that could leapfrog, but I will tell you for right now, with everything that's given, with what we've seen even in the recent history here of substitute drivers being hired, having to turn around because they didn't have the right navigation or they didn't read the paper the right way. There could be something else that takes its place, but right now I feel like this is important enough that this is an investment.
So this is the priority from your recommendation for the PI fund?
Yes.
Because originally I was reticent to support it, but the fact that we're doing it through the PI fund, which is a little bit of a game of coconuts, but I have heartburn about it. But the fact that it's an additional $4,000 to $5,000 versus an additional $15,000 swayed my opinion. Thank you.
Don't discount the sultry sounds of my voice too, Mr. Miko.
I will discount it because there's only so much I'm willing to pay for. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions for Steve? We'll end on that then. George, can you take the roll?
I can't look at the audience.
Ms. Hafner?
Yes.
Mrs. Bissell?
Yes.
Mr. Miko?
Yes.
Mrs. Hausum?
Yes. Motion carries.
The second item on the list is a resolution to participate in the Ohio Department of Transportation, their bidding program for sodium chloride or rock salt. The contract is to be in effect beginning June 2026, terminating May of 2027. The funding is to be from the general fund, supplies, materials for custodians. In other words, cooperative purchasing with Ohio Transportation for rock salt.
Any questions? All right. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
I still can't get over that comment. Glad you only had 2 items instead of more. Next up with our curriculum report this month is Nicole.
Good evening. I have what I believe is the most exciting item of the evening.
Yeah.
I don't know how well I can sell it. Be it resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent that the list of potential graduates be approved to participate in the Strongsville High School commencement ceremony on May 21st, 2026, pending, of course, their successful completion of the requirements. Second item, summer school dates will be June 3rd through July 1st this year. Item 3, you have for your approval the elementary student fees list for the 26-27 school year. Item 4, the Strongsville High School, or the Strongsville Middle School student handbook for your approval. Item 5, we have a placement with of a student from the University of Mount Union. Number 6 is to pay for students to participate in Edmentum, which is our online service provider for kids in our online school. Number 7 is to continue our contract with a new edition of our Spanish textbook, which I won't even try to say. Jenny just kind of laughs when I say it because I pronounce it wrong. Number 8, Second Step program, which is a program that promotes social emotional learning. Item 9, Success Maker, which is the math curriculum and adaptive math curriculum we use. And number 10 and number 11 are for French and German materials adoptions for the next 6 years.
Any questions for Nicole?
Thanks.
Thanks, Nicole. Next up is Andy with the Student Service Report.
Good evening, members of the board. I have 3 items for you this evening. The first is ASG Education Services. This is also known as the LEAP program. This is for placement of students with disabilities for next school year 2026-27. The next item is the Educational Service Center and the Positive Education Program, known as PEP, for the 2026-27 school year. And the last is for our Power School Group, LLC. That's our special education program where we write IEPs and Section 504s and other related documents to those for the 2026-27 school year in the amount of $24,361.53.
Questions for Andy?
Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. Next, Brian will come up with the Human Resource Report.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. I have the following items in human resources for your consideration. Item 1, abolishments, non-certificated. Item 2, resignations, certificated. Item 3, resignations, non-certificated. Item 4, resignation, certificated district substitutes. Item 5, retirement leadership. Item 6, retirements, non-certificated. Item 7, appointment, administrative. Item 8, appointment, leadership. Item 9, appointments, certificated. Item 10, appointments, non-certificated. Item 11, appointments, non-certificated substitutes. Item 12, appointment, certificated athletic supplemental contract. Item 13, appointment, non-certificated athletic supplemental contract. Item 14, changes in status, certificated full-time equivalents. Item 15, changes in status, non-certificated. Item 16, contract recommendations, non-certificated continuing contracts. Item 17, volunteers, chaperones. Item 18 is a correction. Item 19, a revision. Item 20, leave of absence, certificated. Item 21, leaves of absence, non-certificated. Item 22, unpaid leaves of absence, certificated. And item 23, unpaid leave of absence, non-certificated. Any questions? No, thank you.
Thanks, Ron. And finally, Dave will come up with the technology report.
Good evening. I have 3 items for consideration tonight. The first one is for some technology software for Biloxi, the district classroom management and student safety software. Be resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education approves entering a 3-year contract for the renewal of Biloxi software, a tool designed to help monitor, share, and communicate. The platform helps maintain compliance with the Children's Internet Protection Act. Annual cost is $34,063.75. Terms of agreement include a 3-year bundle agreement discount Contract dates are from May 24th, 2026 to May 25th, 2029. Item number 2 is for a final site website and content management system provider contract. Be it resolved upon the recommendation, the superintendent of the Board of Education approves the contract between Final Site Active Internet Technologies and Strongsville City Schools to provide the website and content management system for service for a period of 3 years to be paid annually as follows: for year 1 for $9,480, year 2 for $9,989, and year 3, $10,528 for a total cost over the life of the agreement of $29,997. And the last one here is for Power School enrollment registration. Be resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education enters into an agreement with Power School Group, LLC, to provide enrollment registration services for the period of June 30th, 2026 to June 29th, 2027, in the amount of $23,802.47.
Any questions for Dave? Thank you, Dave. With that, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Next, we have the report on Polaris Career Center. Again, Polaris is always hopping. They've got so much going on. Great group of students from all of our districts that feed into Polaris. Tonight, I want to talk about a few events that are coming up. The first one, the first ever Polaris Connections Career Fair will be held Tuesday, April 28th from 2:45 to 4 p.m. at Polaris. The public has the opportunity to come and meet with dozens of local employers offering competitive wages and strong benefits. An employer list can be found on the Polaris website. Second, they will have an adult job and career training program open house next Thursday evening at 5 p.m. Next, they have the ribbon cutting ceremony for the new ERA Engineering, Technology, Robotics, and Automation Wing. That'll be held May 12th at 4 p.m. This hands-on high-tech career pathway is still accepting student applications, but spots are limited, so apply now on the Polaris website. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is the Camp Discovery for our young kids, our younger learners, rising 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. Again, you can register online. Discover Polaris through a series of fun, hands-on classes led by our amazing teachers. During camp, you'll dive into exciting activities, build cool projects, and explore real career pathways. It's your chance to experience the exciting world of Polaris while learning new skills and discovering what inspires you. Again, you can register and find all this information on the Polaris website. Next, I'll turn it over to Mrs. Bissell for a report on legislation.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it brief tonight. They are still in session, and things are just kind of in a holding pattern right now. So all the things that we've brought up before, there's no progress. Just two things of note, not specifically legislation, but some of you may already be aware that they've released a new attendance calendar that we can keep an eye on. It's attendance.ohio.gov. If you're interested in taking a look, you can look up our school district or any others. It's not mandatory participation, but Strongsville is participating. And it's a good resource and tool to kind of keep an eye on our attendance and chronic absenteeism. So if you're interested in that, please take a look. And then just one other thing of note, last summer on June 24th, 2025, the Franklin County Court of Common Pleas made the decision that the Ed Voucher Program is unconstitutional. And coming up here on May 12th, we'll be paying attention. The 10th District Court of Appeals is going to hear arguments in that appeal case. So just keeping an eye on that as we wait for other legislation to come through. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Board liaison reports. City Council.
City Council met on Monday this week. The highlights from the meeting, there was quite a bit, if you've paid attention to the news, they continue to have some discussion about the possibility of a new hotel going into the property where the mall is. So there's, like everything, there's pluses and minuses, and people in favor of it and people against it. And then I did have notes.
I can step in for you, Rich. I have some notes prepared. So at the council meeting on Monday, the council did vote on a lease agreement with Cuyahoga County Public Libraries for our Strongsville Library. It is a 10-year lease. They did also amend the lease to include clauses for repairs needed to the building that will be done on the Cuyahoga County Public Library's expense. Regarding the sidewalk comprehension project, which has been a hot topic, council recently selected Envision Group LLC to help provide engineering and consulting services. Council also approved the road salt purchase ordinance, which we too tonight had our salt purchase ordinance on the agenda. As of right now, the city is planning to purchase 9,000 tons of road salt, and we did include an option clause to purchase more as needed. The city was also granted $167,000 for recreation center updates and upgrades. At this time, there is no update on the pirate ship yet, because that too is a hot topic, is when that is going to be repaired and restored, but hopefully we will have one soon. And then last but not least, just to take a moment to recognize Mitzi Anderson. If you don't know that name, she is the clerk of the building commission in the building department. She is retiring Wednesday, April 29th, honestly, to do one of the most noble jobs out there. She is retiring, one, to help take care of her mother, who's located in the DC area. If you don't know Mitzi, her and her husband are both veterans, so they come from the DC area. It's still very near and dear to her heart. Mitzi actually took a couple of days off this week to go and help her mom with her chemo treatments. So we're keeping her mom in our thoughts and prayers, of course, but also she is going to be a first-time grandma here very soon. Her daughter is having the first grandbaby of the family. So she also wants to take some time to help her daughter out, who's located down in Cincinnati, as they transition into being a new family of 3. So we congratulate Mitzi. Thank you for all you do for the city. Thank you for all you've done for our building department and our planning commission, and we wish you well in retirement. That's all I have.
All right. Thank you. Stars Education Foundation. They met earlier this month for spring break virtually. They continue discussion of the work they've been doing at Casino Night, their major fundraiser, and just to note that is a change in venue. This year, they will be at the Encore Center. More information will be coming out about that over the next few months. I want to talk about their grants. We are so fortunate as a district to have the Education Foundation. They have funded so far this year $18,700, leaving $8,400 in their grant budget line. So if there's anyone out there that is considering looking for grant money, definitely approach the Strongsville Education Foundation. They've been a great partner. And just to expand a little bit on what George talked about with the scooters, they are Razor scooters to be used by all of our elementary students, and this is to help implement a new Balance on Wheels curriculum. It's going to be for our early learners that can't handle the roller skates yet. So they get to try out the scooters. So again, thank you to the Strongsville Education Foundation for all you do. PTA Council.
Yes, there was a meeting on April 2nd. As usual, there's a ton of information covered at those meetings. I'll just highlight a couple of things. There'll be a couple of DARE Council PTA sponsored dances coming up here May 1st and May 8th. So be aware of those tickets. One's for 5th grade and then one's for 6th through 8th. Yeah? Okay. Okay, tomorrow's the last day for early bird tickets if you're interested in those. So that's always a fun time as we kind of celebrate spring and the arrival of the end of school and all of those fun things. So the guest speaker this month was Katie Hawk, who's principal at Whitney Elementary, and she talked about building thinking classrooms, which was really exciting to hear about. The goal of building thinking classrooms that she shared was strengthening students' ability to think, not just follow steps. So they're working on things like reasoning, problem solving, and explaining their ideas. And so what it looks like is a lot more standing up at whiteboards, working together, collaborating, and a lot fewer worksheets. So I think for those of us that are parents, that's really exciting to hear about as education continues to transform. And I think, we're meeting the needs of our current learners in the best of ways we can at the moment. So thanks to Katie for coming and sharing with us about that. And then just one more thing. We have the next installation luncheon is coming up on April 28th, and they're going to do it at the Pavilion in Town Square. And I believe we honor the 2 award winners at that as well. And they are Olivia Fadenholz for the TNPTA, and she's also at Whitney. And I had a chance to go listen to her conduct and lead them in December, and boy, was I blown away. So she is really a gem, and we're lucky to have her here in Strongsville. And then also, we'll go back to the Orlowskis again. Jen was our winner for the Helping Hands, and she, as we know, she does a little bit of everything around the district, and she's also fantastic to have on staff. So we are so blessed in Strongsville with the leaders that we have, and we'll have an opportunity to congratulate them here shortly. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Southwest General Hospital,
I got a letter
they're meeting
with the agenda,
right
and they're
now.
meeting right now.
Are they really?
Oops. I've told friends to report back.
So we will have a update on how awesome the meeting is at our next meeting. But yes, they are meeting right now, so Laura and I were unable to attend. I tried to arm wrestle and changing the date of our meeting, but that failed miserably. So we'll have another update next meeting.
Thank you. Board committee reports, Finance Committee.
We have not had a recent Finance Committee meeting. Our next meeting is to be determined. George will let us know when he'd like to see us all again. That concludes my report.
Perfect. Policy Committee?
We just had a meeting that I reported on already, I believe, and still have some things in the works there, so we'll be having first and second readings on the agenda shortly, and no meeting is currently announced. It'll be in the fall.
Facilities Committee, our next meeting will be May 19th, 2026 at 6:30 PM right here in the admin building. Business Advisory Council Committee.
Same as Finance, we have not had a recent meeting.
We'll be back in the fall.
Dr. Ryba will let us all know when he would like to see all of our smiling faces again, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. Next, we have the consent calendar. Adoption by the Board of Education and adoption of consent calendar at this point of the agenda means that all items appearing in this agenda denoted as type action consent, which items constitute the consent calendar, are adopted by one single motion unless a member of the board or the superintendent requests that such items be removed from the consent calendar and voted upon separately. Do we have anything that needs to be removed? Hearing none, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion by Ms. Hafner, second by Mrs. Bissell. George, can you take the roll?
Ms. Hafner?
Yes.
Mrs. Bissell?
Yes.
Mr. Miko?
Yes.
Mrs. Hausum?
Yes. Motion carries. Back over to you, Dr. Ryba.
Thank you, Ms. Hausum, and I'll turn it over to Jenny to share the soon-to-be rebranded timely information, but not yet because they haven't
soon.
solidified
Too soon. We're still
the
thinking,
new
Dan.
name. Yeah.
We had a couple ideas. We were going to roll it out, and I said, let's just wait. So I just wanted to highlight at Chapman Elementary, Mrs. Zalati. It's so rewarding when Sydney was one of my students at Center Middle School when I was a principal, and to just see her in her classroom and all the great work she's doing, it makes me proud. But what she is a teacher in our moderate to intensive special education classroom at Chapman. And her ability to, well, first of all, I didn't know there were so many national days. I mean, I did, but I didn't know that there was Black Cat Day, National Donut Day, National Nacho Day, and National Plant a Flower Day. And so I found that really interesting. But the fact that she is bringing real-world activities to her students that have challenges, and she's able to embed that into her classroom through cooking, art projects, sensory exploration, movement-based tasks, and collaborative challenges where students can actively participate and have access to the curriculum immediately it's awesome to watch. And it's just so exciting. One of our goals this year in the DLT was to connect real-world experiences with all of our learners, and this is just a wonderful example of that. And it's no doubt that she works incredibly hard each and every day, and I just love the smiles on the kids' faces. Next, we'll go to the middle school. The art program that we have at the middle school is just phenomenal, and the way these teachers all work together in different aspects of different classes. But one of the things, visual arts, it's so important to support our students this way, both academically, socially, and emotionally. And our art classes at the middle school just enhance those daily student experiences by helping with the development of identity, confidence, and social awareness, which all go with our Model Mustang competencies. And through that, they're able to explore diverse media, drawing, painting, printmaking, clay, structure building, and to be able to have access to a lot so they know what they want to do at the high school level. So a few examples of this, in Art 7, they're doing a clay coil containers where they created functional decorative clay coil containers using a variety of clay hand building techniques and demonstrated the use of slip and score procedures and applying ceramic glazes to that. That takes me back to art in high school when I had to do some of those things. And then we have our art and music production course in 8th grade where they're collaborating with each other to create a stop motion animation of their own designs and using just a variety of materials and working through problems and photographing their projects. So there's just such a lot of different skills and things that they're combining together to create these animations. And I will say I was in one of the art classes a few weeks ago and they were creating cereal boxes. And so I suggested that maybe through FCS, Family Consumer Science, they could actually do the recipe for the cereal that they created on their boxes. So again, just really engaging activities that they are doing in art over at the middle school. And then finally, this one kind of blew my mind a little bit, but Mr. Sperling in his AP Computer Science Principles lesson is helping students learn about how computing systems are able to speed up processes and students are working alongside each other to achieve complicated tasks more efficiently. And they were asked to complete a simple task, so they had to write all of their numbers from 1 to 50 as quickly as possible in different ways, simulating as they were acting as a computer system. And so first, they saw how long it took to write the numbers individually and mimicking kind of sequential execution. Then they got to work in pairs to get all the numbers written down with some additional rules. And then they were in large groups with one elected leader coordinating who wrote that. So again, just a great example of collaboration and having to work together and thinking critically. Again, another real-world model of computing concept, and students were able to figure out several core aspects of the different computing paradigms themselves before formalizing the approaches with notes afterward, such as how parallel execution requires pausing for synchronous steps from time to time, and how distributed systems will check in with the primary node to request additional work to do so. I need to find a lot more out about that because that seems very complicated. But AP Computer Science is just one of those courses that's really difficult to find a qualified teacher to run, and Mr. Sperling's doing a phenomenal job. Thank you.
And then finally, on the last slide, where we've got some timely information updates, George is about to hit it. We're switching to Parent Square. So we shared this in our last parent update. So Remind, which many parents know is a communication tool, was bought out by Parent Square. And so at the end of May, Remind will officially sunset, and we will go to Parent Square starting in June through next school year. So again, if you're involved in anything over the summer, you'll see reminders and get in the app. It will also replace our school messenger system where we send emails out to parents or voice shots, as well as a SMORE newsletter. Parents probably won't notice that as much. It's more of an internal thing. But just be on the lookout. Remind will no longer be used after the end of May. And then I was just curious, so I totaled up. We have done so far, I believe, 51 in-person events for the bond issue. And so next week, we've got 52, 53, 54. So 52 is we've got a homeowners association meeting or homeowners meeting on Monday. But a couple events that we want to bring your attention to is the virtual town hall on Wednesday. So as I said, we've had 51 in-person events. And here's my request to any community member, any parent. If you haven't heard information firsthand from us, tune in. Put the earbuds in, do your thing. It's going to be live streamed on SES TV, so you just go to our website at 6:30 on Wednesday. We'll have a variety of people that will be able to share insights about the Foundation for the Future Facilities Plan, as well as in the email there will be a submission form for live Q&A at the end that we'll be able to answer. So our request, our ask is that everybody understands the facts before they make their decision, and that we just ask that you hear those facts from us and have the opportunity to ask questions, get clarifications, wherever it may be, so you can get the information and be armed with all the details prior to making a decision for the future of our community. And then on Thursday, although not on this slide, we will be having an open house at Chapman Elementary School. We've done a couple of these around the district, but it's 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. Is it 5 or, thank you, 5 to 7 at Chapman Elementary School. There's no official start time. You just show up. We'll have people there to take you around, kind of to get inside of our buildings if you haven't been in our buildings for a number of years, see what a day in the life of our students is inside of the building in our mobile units. And if it hasn't reached your mailbox already, has it? I got mine today. Okay, so if it hasn't, next day or so, there's a postcard that we've sent out so people can see what's going on in the district with the mobile units that we have, because we are out of space in the elementary schools, and then also promoting the open house at Chapman. And then finally, again, the QR code or the website is there that has any bit of information that you would want to find. So get engaged, get informed, so that you can make the best decision for you and your family and our community on May 5th. And that concludes what is known as now timely information.
All right, thank you. Next, Board of Education, other. Do we have any others? Okay. Hearing none. Meeting notification. A regular Board of Education meeting work session will be held Thursday, May 14th, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. right here in the meeting room of the admin building. And a regular Board of Education meeting will be held Wednesday, May 20th, 2026, 6:30 p.m. in the auditorium of the Strongsville High School, 20025 Lund Road, and that is when we will honor our retirees, correct? Yes, so that'll be one to tune in for. Next, we do have need for executive session.
To consider the employment of a public employee.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion by Ms. Hafner, second by Mrs. Bissell. George, can you take the roll?
Ms. Hafner?
Yes.
Mrs. Bissell?
Yes.
Mr. Miko?
Yes.
Mrs. Hausum?
Yes. Motion carries. We will enter into executive session at approximately 8:05. We do not see reason to resume public session, so I want to wish everyone a good night.